Let's take a look at different modules now. I have a supplier relationship management module. Maybe I want to onboard a supplier. That's great. I could also find out my status of them through having these blue ribbons at the top of the screen. These are entirely configurable blue ribbons. So each prospective organization is going to have something different that they want to have in their ribbons. In this particular case, I have decided to pick my prospective suppliers. We also have a badging system, a handy system that allows you to configure different badges to say, this is what I want from this particular supplier. And if they qualify for that, well, then it bolds out and it shows a green button. And that green dot actually shows that, in fact, this veteran owned has a valid certificate and it will expire on date X. You can have as many different types of badges as you choose. And there's all types of information about this supplier. Let's clear that filter. We could also go ahead and look at the registration. Maybe I want to submit that registration to a supplier and see if I could get them onboarded. Great. This will have your company name here, and then anything you would like to write to that supplier. So when they get the email, they click on the little blue button that says take them out to get onboarded. It will have this language right here. I'm going to go and show you now what the supplier view actually looks like in the Raindrop marketplace. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, we left from great products, and now we're in the marketplace. At this point, my name is Fred Burke. I received that request to get registered, and here it is. It's been requested. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that registration request. As we saw, here's the email that I received that you typed up. Any business information I care to type in about my company, maybe a list of the commodity types, what a little description is about my company, any additional information you might want me to fill in, I'll be happy to fill in for you. And then the supplier contacts. These are the people who actually are allowed to have access to influence the Raindrop marketplace on the supplier's behalf. You could decide as the customer who has access to this, or the supplier themselves could go ahead and delegate and add another user who should be, for example, the primary contact, or maybe the invoice contact, or the payment contact. These are all configurable fields in accordance with your needs. Any documents you might ask me to send over. So the customer has asked me to attach my W-9 or maybe an NDA, and I'm happy to do that. I have attached the file right here, and it's been updated by this person at this date. Evidence-based is really important. I could tell right here that I have not added the business license nor the bank letter. Those are open action items as well as the supplier questionnaire, so I have to add those. I'll do that momentarily. Any certificates you've asked me to. Well, I have to add the certificate of insurance you've selected. But let's say, for example, you had the conflict minerals. I would have to go add that file. I could see when it expires, who updated it, and when it's been updated. Your audit teams will love this. And of course, a questionnaire. Here comes the questionnaire. In this particular instance, I have a 2-section questionnaire, section 1 and section 2. I could also ask questions to the supplier, or they could ask questions to me, the customer. So let's say I click right here, and that's going to allow me to go ahead and pull up a public view of a question that they're going to send. Can you please finish up your onboarding questionnaire? We need to get you in our system. And I could go type back to Dave or Ward, and I could say, yes, I received it. Here it is. And we could get messaging back and forth. This message stays in perpetuity with this questionnaire. So even when people leave the company, the answers are still there. It keeps everything centric in one organized place. The payment information. Your supplier will put in their payment information here that's applicable to them. Nobody's going to be allowed to change this information unless the respective organization inside your company and resources approve those changes. In other words, it's protection to make sure there's no fraud happening. And then if I wanted to submit this, you'll notice there's a little tooltip here. Raindrop, we sprinkle tooltips all over throughout the entire system. It's really up to you where you want them and what you want them to say. For example, here's another tooltip. Okay, let's go back to the supplier relationship management module now. I'm going to leave out of the supplier view in a moment, but let's say I'm the supplier. I get all my purchase orders from you right here. And I could say, great products, thank you so much for sending me this purchase order number right here. And I could see that purchase order. It will pop up, and I also get a digital copy of it if I wanted to see it too. All the metadata associated with that document. Of course, we have all the different columns of data right here. These are entirely configurable for whatever your organization requires. I could take that purchase order, I could take that purchase order and I could go create an invoice straight away. It's what we call PO flip. So you could take a PO and flip it into an invoice. Let's say invoice number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can go create an invoice. Maybe we have an invoice amount and I can go save that. And there's my invoice. Your supplier also will receive their sourcing events right here. So they'll see that they've been asked to join a sourcing event for supplies. And they can go work on that project straight away. They could have a sourcing event agreement. They could download it. They've said, yes, I'm going to participate. They'll be able to see all the lots that they'll be participating in, as well as the qualification questionnaire. They could answer all their questions. Let's just say it's yes, and the numbers are going to change instantly. They could leave a message and say, no, I don't. No, we do not guarantee on-time delivery. And I'm going to save that. There you go. So I could leave notes all of a sudden for the customer to see what I want. And if I have any attachments, I could attach that as well. It makes it more valuable for the customer. We could then get down to the question and answer section. So I could ask questions. It could be one-on-one questions, or it could be one-to-many questions. Or they can answer, the customer could send an announcement as well. And then, of course, I have my responses. My responses are, here's the pricing, here's the documents, and all the information that I'm going to go ahead and give you. Any scorecards I've been asked to fill out, the supplier could see that as well. With Raindrop, you could drag and drop sections anywhere you want. So if you see here, we're just going to move things around. Again, modern software user experience. So maybe I want to have a template type, let's say a supplier onboarding. Let's go take a look at that. I get all my questions. And again, as before, I could go ahead and ask questions and have them answered. We took a look at invoices, but we'll see these here as well. Our purchase orders we looked at. Sorry, we'll see the invoices. So now I have an invoice I'm going to go send out to the customer. Here's the customer. I'm going to send them an invoice. And I have all the metadata associated with that invoice. And 2- and 3-way matching, so I know that if something's been received, I can make a reference to it. This is the supplier view. If they've been asked to digitally sign something, they could use RainSign. So they've been invited to an auction. I'm going to go ahead and digitally sign that. There's my document, and I can go sign.